All right, 1 second. I'm getting it set up. 1 second here. All right, guys, we are going to go over the administrative charges first because that's the one that you guys will be able to do first. So let's go over those as well. Then we'll roll our way to criminal and then we'll roll our way to civil. So starting off at a 3.1 is resisting arrest. Whether it's someone, let's say, I'll just read it off exactly what it says. Intentionally preventing or obstructing a police officer. Hold on, let me pause my video in the back. I'm sorry. All right, so 3.1 is resisting arrest, intentionally preventing or obstructing a police officer from making an arrest by using force, whether it's running, struggling, continuously moving. So charges can't be placed if they're near, if they keep running around and they're at a certain distance, charges can't be placed. So that counts as refusing to comply, or even refusing to sign a citation, or etc. Pretty much disobeying you, which is the 3.2 is where we're getting into, is intentionally to refuse or failing to comply with the police officer. If you give an order, you give a direction, and they don't want to listen, you tell them to pull over, they don't listen to you, that is a 3.2 for disobeying. Then you have a 3.3, which is aiding an arrest. Whether it's his friend, a stranger, doesn't matter. If you're helping the other suspect get away from us, that is considered a 3.3, aiding the arrest. Then we have a 3.4, which is the most common one, which is someone breaking a traffic violation. There is a speed limit, and as well, so a 3.4 will go under hitting signs, poles, crashing, hitting somebody per se, but it's also traffic violation. But that's another one. Driving drunk, running stop signs, etc. I mean, NRP. I'm sure we all have driven a car. We all know the rules in real life, so pretty much about the same here. So that's a 3.4. Then you have a 3.5, which is an assault on a civilian. Rather, it's slapping, hitting, spitting, just an assault. Everybody gets assaulted sometimes, and NRP. So that's a 3.5. And then a 3.6 is refusing any documents. So if you request a document from anybody and they refuse to give it to you, normally I would do two chances. So after the second refusal, then you could charge them with a 3.6, refusing documents such as license, passports, gun license, vehicle specs, and etc. Any questions?
No.
Beautiful. All right, but those are the charges that you guys will be able to do at first. So I went over those first. Now let's go to the twos, which is administratives. Oh, actually, yeah, administratives. So starting off with a 2.1 is damage to state property. Rather, it's hitting a light pole, tagging walls, you know, running into the barriers at HP. I mean, we all seen those. That is considered state property. Even our patrol vehicles, that is also state property. Then you have a 2.2. 2.2 is damage to any private property, whether it's somebody's home, whether it's tagging on a house, businesses, hitting a personal vehicle, even shooting at a personal vehicle is considered damage to private property. So that is a 2.2. A 2.3 is a false cause or emergency call that was placed upon towards us for us to show up scene. It's a false claim from a civilian, a medic, or even you're following, pretty much wasting a medic staff's time and wasting PD staff's time. So if the call is for no reason, then you charge them with a 2.3. NRP, I'm glad you're recording because people are blowing up my phone right now. Actually, my phone's about to die. Boy, I never do. All right, so moving on to a 2.4, it's considered debauchery. This is the most annoying one out of all of them. It's someone that's either blasting music, making any noise, yelling, screaming, does not matter. It's just toxic behavior, not allowing the person to speak, not allowing anybody to speak. And it's also, yeah, I mean, pretty much someone that's being, actually, wait a minute. Yeah. So someone is being annoying, rather if they're blasting music, driving under the influence, spitting in someone's face. Sorry if I could NRP. I'm sorry if I go silent every now and then. I'm pretty much avoiding a phone call right now. And they do not stop. Some people just don't get the hint. So yes, 2.4, rather someone's playing music, not allowing you to speak, being extremely obnoxious, or even spitting in someone else's face. That's considered a 2.4 debauchery. So now moving to a 2.5 is a murder or murder threat. If you hear somebody saying, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you," "I'm gonna kill this person," or even witness this murder happen, that is a 2.5. That one's self-explanatory. Then you got uh, another most common of them all, a 2.6, insulting a state employee. If they call you out by name, any fellow officer, no matter what faction, whether it's Army, whether it's EMS, whether it's PD, you cannot insult a state employee rather or have somebody else insult a state employee. So that is a 2.6 charge. Then you have a 2.7 for extortion, which is taking bribery, rather is paying someone to harm somebody else or even receiving money to harm somebody else. So that is extortion, receiving a value of sort for threat, harm, or even explosion. Or yeah, I'm pretty sure I even probably did not pronounce that right. But those charges are 5 minutes long per charge. So you're gonna put somebody in jail. Just remind yourself that every charge under administrative only adds 5 minutes. So please make sure if you're gonna charge somebody with something, put them under the right number, because you wouldn't want them to be in jail for only 5 minutes. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Especially if they
And
do multiple violations, and it's a problem. You know what I mean? Now we get to the big ones, my favorite ones, criminal charges. So starting off with a criminal charges, starting at 1.1. So this would be considered trying to take capture captive of a location of faction, whether that PD, military base, or HP. It's a lot of people who are than just trying to control the factions to control state property. That is considered a 1.1
question.
answer.
So how we be responding to HP and they won't be leaving and they be trying to take over HP, would that be a 1.1?
Yes. If there's a large group of people and they're all together, that is a 1.1, and probably even one person just trying to block the road, that's 1.1.
Okay, okay. Makes sense.
But just state property. So if they're blocking entrance to Army base, that's a 1.1. They're blocking PD entrance, 1.1. They're blocking HP, et cetera, and so forth.
10-4, 10-4.
So then you got a 1.2. It's taking power by force. Rather, it's taking control of an authority for unlawful meanings. Rather, it includes violence or intimidation. So if they're trying to intimidate you, get violent with you, try to punch you in the face, that's trying to take power by force. Then you got the wildest one, a 1.3, taking hostage or kidnapping. DJ, I'm just kidding. So rather, a civilian is taken hostage, or even a faction member is taken hostage. It's 1.3. That one's self-explanatory. So then you have a 1.4. Yeah, we got jokes, brother. We got jokes all day. You know me. Then we got a 1.4 fatal collision with a 1.4 is a fatal collision. Rather, it's anybody. You kill anybody with the vehicle. You watch anybody get killed with vehicle. That's a 1.4. So that's a struck by a car. Then we got a 5. Then that attempted theft. So you see and then you know they probably won't have the key. Maybe they will have the key. Like somebody hopping in another person's car, even our car, that's attempted. Moving on to a 1.6 robbery of a police officer. A civilian could aim a gun at you and tell you run your pockets or your car keys and let me take your pull on the ride. That is a 1.6. They try to steal it from you. NRP, they'll do slap by per se and pretty much put your name in there and try to steal from you, etc. We're moving on to a 1.7 unquestioned entry that is protected by law, such as you somebody to PD, tell somebody to leave PD, some leave military base, and they refuse. That is a 1.7. So if somebody to leave, charge them with that. That's the most common one you'll see over AP as well. A 3.2 for bang. Those two go hand in hand together. Now moving on to a 1.8 collision with a pedestrian. Somebody get hit, they're not dead. 1.8. You smack the civilian, that's a 1.8, man. Now moving to a 1.0 weapon in a public place. Please be very aware of that one. That one could get very finicky, especially in such a stressful situation. It's shots fired zone. So a 1.9 really goes for someone that is shooting their guns in public area without a license, especially if it's not in self-defense. Heavy self-defense at all times, but we'll always get down to that point by questioning. So don't always just place charges on just because they shot in the air or something like that. Yes, that's definitely one, but always, especially
You're
if they're young,
lagging,
so their gun
you're lagging, Mr. Zeno. We can't hear you. You might have to restart.
license. Sure they got.
Restart, Mr. Zeno. We can't hear you.
Sorry.
You're lagging, boss man.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Ping is jumping in the club right now. NRP.
Yeah, you're still a little staticky, I ain't gonna lie.
Keeps jumping.
So I assume a 1.4 is worse than a 1.8, correct? All right, no, that's for sure, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. 1.4 is a fatal collision. 1.8 is just a collision where they survive. So 1.4 would definitely be way more serious than a 1.8.
Boy, my ping was jumping like a nightclub. NRP. All right, so where did I left off at, or where did you guys leave off at before I started lagging like crazy?
At 1.9.
Copy. So yes, 1.9, discharging your weapon in a public area. That one is very finicky. If someone's shooting, please, always question, make sure they check your documents. Check their documents, make sure they got a gun license, question the situation, and then figure out exactly what happened and what went down. And especially if you witnessed it, then boom, 1.9 is discharging a weapon in a public place. Then moving on to a 1.10, bribing a police officer. Someone bribes you with money, gifts, doesn't matter, favors, etc. Pretty much just to alter your decision on the arrest. That is a 1.10. So please don't get caught doing a 110 or yourself. Make sure you charge people with a 110. Then you got a 1.11, right? That one is murder of a civilian or a police officer. Witness somebody get shot, killed, murder, car, doesn't matter what happened, punched, he killed them. 1.11. These charges are automatic in white zones. So if you're in a white zone, those charges will be applied automatically. Watch a civilian shoot somebody, you don't have to worry about placing those charges, but it's always good to verify that. No, those are automatic. There's no need to verify on that one. Those are automatic.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty good to know now.
Yep. So if you see somebody even in front of HP down the road, down the street of HP, it's just a great example, even outside of our home right here. Those are all white zones. Only red zones is, around Compton or red zones, and green zones. We all call it green zones. It's the safe zones. Now moving to a 1.12, assault on a police officer. That's hitting, spitting. It's a 1.12. Nobody ever touched you. And that's with their car. That's with the punch. That's with the shot. That's an assault. That's a 1.12. That one is also automatic in white zones. So those charges, you won't have to really worry too much about it unless you're in the red zone like Compton per se. And civil charges, they all are 10 minutes long. So let's say if someone punches, say someone ran over a civilian, right? And punched you, that's 20 minutes in jail off rip. Just a little example. So those are 10 minutes, administratives are 5s, and yeah, administratives are 5, civils are 10, and the criminals are also 20 minutes. So sorry, it'll be 40 minutes in jail if they did 2 criminal offenses. It's 40 minutes in jail.
I have a question.
Ma'am, I got an answer.
So I'm just reading the violations, and if per se, like y'all can correct me, I'm just learning. If I was out in the streets and a civilian was killed in front of me, would that be classified? Now I'm gonna give you 3, and you just can let me know if they're right or wrong. Just want to know. Could I charge them with obviously it would be assault on civilian, a 3.5. Me, I would do a 3.5, a 1.11, and a 1.9. Would those be the correct charges if I that was the case? Listen, if I'm here to learn.
No, absolutely. I mean, if you witnessed it, you know, yeah. I mean, it depends. Again, if it's a white zone, you don't have to worry too much about the 111 and even a 112. So let's say you'll place the 3.5. I mean, that's if the civilian didn't die. So the 3.5 is just an assault. You watch them hit the civilian, watch them shoot at them, but if the civilian's still alive, that's a 3.5. But you will hit them with the 1.9. So they did shoot their weapon, the civilian's still alive, so 1.9. And I mean the 111, it's if he dies. So that one's automatically. So yeah, so if he doesn't die, you'll charge a 3.5. If he dies, a 111 is automatic. If it's in a white zone, if you're in Compton, most definitely you add the 111 if you watch that happen.
Perfect. Thank y'all.
Absolutely. Any more questions?
So, you know how you said it automatically places the charges if we get shot or a civilian gets killed in a white zone? If we witness that, do we just, I assume we don't let it go, right? We try to go arrest him, or do we just let him go until he gets arrested? We try to arrest him, right?
Absolutely. We clean the city up.
All right, 10 for it.
If
Just
you
had to make
watch,
sure.
if you witness crime, you go, by all means, you go ahead and stop it. Again, but always put your safety first. If you see that it's multiple people making this violation, always make sure you call for backup though.
10 for it.
All right, guys. Any more?
Yeah. Obviously, I know Miss Money and myself are unbadged. I went over this, but I like to, have a refresh. So for the speeding, I was just gonna say, like, if we touch on the speed for Miss Money, I'm sure it's 75 on the streets, 105 on the highway, and then when we come to PDG, it's 14 when we reversing in, correct?
Actually, yeah. I mean, yes, you're perfectly fine. Yes, that is correct. So on the roads, it goes from 50 to 75. I mean, you could either drive 50, drive below that. I mean, you're really not an issue. You're just a slow poke. Going past, if you're flying past me at 100, yeah, I'm clocking you with a 3.4. That's excessive speeding on the road. But if you're on the highway, you're doing 110 per se. I'd say that I do 110 on the highway. I don't do 105. I go 5 miles over, but that's a highway. Not from Florida, NRP. So it's a little bit of speed don't hurt nobody. But definitely don't hit like 120 or like 130. Then that becomes an issue. And again, if you guys get caught speeding, your license will be revoked for either a couple of days or an entire week.
Oh.
Yeah, so please don't get caught speeding in your patrol car.
Yes, sir.
And as well, yes, it's 13 to even down to 10 miles per hour within PDG, because we're always doing trainings down there. So it's just for everybody's safety.
Yes, sir. Well, that's all my questions.
All right. Great questions, by the way. I like it. Everybody, as well, you DJ, to get kidnapped. I mean, DJ rather.
Yeah, I appreciate you explaining everything like to the T and perfect, honestly.
Yeah, I suck at explaining things. I'm more of a shower. Like I'm gonna go show you why people get 1.7 and 3.2 all the time. It's kind of I like to show by example.
Well, you've done that too. I've ridden with you plenty of times, and you've showed me that too. And you're surprisingly well at explaining things.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Speaking of that, you got your first arrest today. Brought that in for you. Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you helping me all the way through it, and you explained everything to me perfectly. And I now even know from the future what I do and what I can't do now.
Yes. As well, remember, guys, administrators right now. Unfortunately, I'm a big criminal part of the side. I love finding criminals. I love charging them. The more time they spend in here, the better, the happier I get. I'm not gonna lie to you. But for right now, you guys can only place administratives, and I believe those are only 5 minutes long. So, but if you're starting with another officer and more charges have to be placed, which most likely will be this for right now until you guys become vested. Don't worry about every other charge. If you're riding with somebody else, just let them know exactly what you witnessed, unless they were right there next to you. Victoria, who you tasing? I ain't tasing me. I wouldn't do that. But yeah, that is the end of the violations. I'm gonna ask one more time just to clear it all up. Is there any more questions before we move on?
No, sir.
Awesome.
Not by me.
All right. Well, congratulations, everybody. That is your macro training or violation training. Excuse me. As well
Thank-
as this. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just said thank you.
Absolutely. Any questions you guys got? Never be afraid to come talk to me. NRP, I'm always on. I'm probably gonna be always on for this month, if not probably the next as well. So feel free. My Discord's always open for everybody. Don't be shy. I do bite, but don't be shy. And as well as you guys ever want to go over and review these violations again, it'll be as well as in your guide packet. At the bottom, it says explanation for each. So in case you guys ever want to remember, it's all in there as well. And what I do, I got my work laptop and I got my home laptop, and I keep my home laptop open with the violations, just in case, I already have it on the fly. I mean, if you guys got another
10-13,
device,
shots fired in front of GH3.
beautiful. For it makes it easier, especially for those like for me. I got chicken scratches when I write, so I don't want to write nothing down.